I had a couple experiences amateur. I just starved myself trying to make weight, and I had to make 72 kilo same day. I need 5 weeks notice to make that now, and then I would rehydrate and I'd be 80 kilo. Made the weight, we went to Nando's, and I remember Brian going, like, don't eat too much, your stomach's all shrunk. I'm like, right, cool, no worries. 3 sides, all the stuff. I remember I was fighting earlier than I thought I was, so I was supposed to be the 7th fight or something like that. They were like, oh, we've changed it, you're the 3rd fight or the 4th fight. Get in, start fighting, take the guy down. I'm like, I'm going. Having to like hold it in, I'm not doing much, and you hear the refs like, right, start moving. I'm trying not to be sick. But if you're sick, that's the fight over. Fought during lockdown, that was interesting. You did their test and it was all curtained, there was no fans, it was just a cage, no music, all this kind of stuff. Like, very weird. That was an interesting experience, but aye, a couple strange ones in there. There's other stuff I've probably blocked out.
Michael Blair, thanks very much for coming. I appreciate you doing this, mate.
No worries at all, mate. Happy to be here.
No, good man. So obviously professional MMA fighter, training at the hit squad, you've been there for a long time. And you're with Cage Warriors now. You won your last fight and you get a fight coming up in September. So how's things going with all this, mate?
Good, mate. Good. Going very well. In training camp now, hoping to fight in 6 weeks' time in the next Glasgow show. So just battling away in the gym, me and the boys getting ready, and body's 40 bits. See, when you're in the middle of a training camp, you just want to lie down. That's all. You don't want to do anything else. You don't want to go out. You don't want to fucking do whatever. You just want to lie down in your bed and just go, I just want to chill, man. So that's how I'm feeling now. Body's feeling alright today, but just in general. It's
just broken all the time, just constantly there. I was going to ask, like, is it getting better though? Like, because this is your, is it 3rd fight or 2nd fight with Cage Warriors?
3rd fight with Cage Warriors, aye.
So is it like, is the transition getting better? Like, are you getting like more, as you get more experience, you just kind of know, like, I don't know if it's like you're trying to peak at the right time, so you know sort of when to go hard and when to maybe lay off the gas and take a wee rest day and all that kind of thing.
Aye, 100%. The more you do it, the easier it gets, no matter if it's like the training camp, the weight cut, the actual fight. Just learning through experience with, like you said, when to push yourself. You start to learn your body after a couple training camps, couple years, couple fights, whatever. When you're sore, there's a difference with like sore and almost getting injured. You know what I mean? You're kind of expect to be sore, but there's some sessions you're like, nah, I'm going to hurt myself. I need to rein it in the day. I need to miss this session. And there's other days you're like, I'm just sore. I'll go over it. Like, I'll warm up, I'll be fine. So it's learning how your body handles the stress and stuff, and then preparing for certain days and certain sessions. So we've got, on a Monday and a Friday, we do our sparring. On a Friday, we do some, me and Bungard do running on like Friday morning, like 800 metres, 400 metres. So that's always a heavy day. So it's just preparing for that, whether it's resting on the Thursday, resting on the Sunday, making sure you're eating enough, all that kind of stuff. So it just comes through experience.
Who wins the running?
Oh, I smoke him. Smoke him, aye. He's good at the long distance stuff. If he just goes at a steady pace, he can go all day, but the wee shorter bursts, I'm taking that.
You've got youth in your side, Michael.
That's true, mate. I've got about 8 years on him or something, so it gets away with it.
And what about, like you were saying, like, you know, when to like miss a session and stuff like that? Like, I'm guessing when you were younger, like, was it harder to admit, oh, I'm maybe hurt a wee bit here and say I'm not coming in today? Like, are you getting better with that as you get older?
When I was younger, you'd just come in and train all day. Like, you'd come in for, you see it with some of the younger boys now, you come in for like 3 hours and you just train the full 3 hours, and you come in tomorrow and you do 3-4 hours. It's not even just as much of missing the session, it's just, right, I'm going to rest. I'll rest Wednesday night or whatever it is, I'll rest Tuesday morning. You're still, half the time I'm still in, just to do PTs and coach and stuff like that. But it's just making sure you're not pushing too hard on certain sessions, sitting around it. If you're getting that kind of burst way, oh, I'm just going to hurt myself, right, I'll just chill now. Whereas before you're like, fuck it, right, we'll go. And then that's half the times when you do hurt yourself and you get raging. Like, I'm just an idiot, man. But you see some of these young boys, like Oleg, he's in his first fight in the Hollowtown show in a couple of weeks. He's in the gym all day, every day, and some of the wee boys. He told me the other week he trained 28 hours that week, which is ridiculous. That's like 2 weeks worth of training for a pro fight. And he's in, he'll be shout out to Oleg, he'll run to the MMA sparring for Coatbridge up to Newhouse, MMA spar, I'll take him back to Coatbridge, he'll do the Thai class, Thai spar, and then hang about to drill. Just go home, mate. Like, go home, just chill it. He's just obsessed with it.
He is obsessed. He used to come at 7 o'clock. He's a tough wee guy. Like, I think he'll do well, like, hopefully.
Oh, he's getting better and better. Like, he's a tough role now. Like, it's no fun when you get some of you guys and you're like just rolling about and you're like, it's a bit of a restaurant. You're like, fucking hell, man, having to work here.
I know.
So like, they're getting better and better.
Good. What about, you mentioned the fact that you're obviously teaching as well there. Do you think that's made you like a better fighter?
Aye, definitely. It's just that it's figuring out what you do, why you do it. And there's some stuff you take for granted with you just do naturally, and someone's like, why do you do it this way? And you're like, I'm not sure. Like, wait, and I'll get back to you. And you have to have a think about it, and you have to like analyse and all that stuff. Makes you have to keep learning, if that makes sense. So like, there's some stuff, let's say it's wrestling or jiu-jitsu, I'm happy to do this on top and play this game and wrestle this way, and people are like, alright, can we do ankle picks next week? You're like, right, cool. I'll have to go figure out how to do ankle picks, talk to Finn, ask some questions about stuff, and then go back in and be able to teach it. So it does expand your game a wee bit and just tightens up everything, where you know why you're doing stuff, you know how to do it obviously, and like when the best time to do it is, and just try to teach it to people, kind of solidifies it.
Aye, no class. What about, how did you get into this, Michael? Did you train when you were younger, like karate or boxing or anything, or what's the story?
I'd done like taekwondo when I was like 5 or something like that. Nothing, I didn't have a clue what it was. I remember everyone was making all the noises and I was just fucking screaming, like kidding on to do the punches and stuff like that. I had no clue what everyone was doing, looking a bit. I'd done that for like a couple months when I was a wee boy. I always wanted to do boxing when I was in school, and then I remember watching The Ultimate Fighter with my dad years and years ago when I was a wee boy, so I knew what UFC was. And then I was watching like Mike Tyson highlight videos, and then came across like UFC videos. I was like, what is this stuff? Like, this isn't how I remembered it. And then just started watching it on the telly and got quite obsessed with it. But it took me a couple of years to come into the gym. Always wanted to do it, but it was just that you put it off. So I'll do it next month. I'll do it after this exam. I'll do it my summer holidays, I've got time. I'll do it, I'm busy, I'll do it then. And then after a while I was like, right, fuck it, I'll just batter in, get a go. I went with a couple of my pals. They didn't want to do it after a while. Like, alright, I'll go next week. They were doing the same stuff and I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to batter in. And then best decision I made.
So when you went, you didn't know anybody at the gym, like you just went in solo in the end, did you?
No, so I didn't know anyone. Went with one of my pals the first time, went with another pal the second time, and then they were busy and they didn't want to go. So I just went myself. And
can you remember what the feeling was like when you first walked in? Was it that one? The one at Whifflet?
Aye, the Whifflet one. Aye. It wasn't what I was expecting. See, when you push the door and it's just a wee like alleyway, you know, what the fuck is this all about? But it was, I don't know how to describe how I felt about it the first time. You just see everyone in and it just looks like normal guys just doing stuff, and you're like, is this right? What's the script here? Like Andy Cameron was doing the class and like Cubs the least kind of looking fighter. You'd see just with the like anime tattoos and stuff like that. And glasses on, you're like, right, is this the right place? And then you see Brian, just stocky and fucking solid. I enjoyed my first class and I was like, right, this is brilliant. Come back the next day or the next week. And then just fell in love with it and just didn't want to leave. So
you weren't like nervous really, like when you first went in? Like,
I think I was a wee bit, but you're nothing too bad. You're just like, I'll just go and give this a go. If it's, I don't like it, I'll go do something else. I was wanting to do something to keep fit. I just stopped playing football. Played football for like a while when I was wee, but I was maybe 18 when I started. So I just stopped playing football, wasn't doing anything. I never liked going to the gym, never liked lifting weights and stuff like that. I'm still no mad on it. I do it because I have to now. I thought I'll give this a go, see how I got on it, and then just enjoyed it.
Aye. Would you have had like many fights at school, like or secondary or anything like that? Were you?
No, not really. I was quite quiet and quite calm, to be fair. Like, I'm no really aggressive or anything. Same thing, like even going out drinking. I never really get any fights or anything like that. I'm just quite a calm, happy-go-lucky guy. So I would never really get into confrontation or anything like that. I would, as a wee boy, you'd fight people. Like, you're just fucking daft. But always liked it. Since a wee boy, like fucking wrestling about your pals and stuff like that, and like fighting your wee brother and your cousins and stuff. But in school and stuff, I wasn't really like one of the guys that would go fighting.
And it's Coatbridge you're from, isn't
it? Bailson, but I went to school in Coatbridge.
Oh,
so
right.
It's like, I hang about Coatbridge, but most of my pals are from there as well.
So it didn't cause you any issues, like, because you were like a Bailson boy when you went to Coatbridge?
Nah, so the way it works is, like, the catchment area for my, like, where I stay in Bailson, the school is St Ambrose I went to, like the Catholic school. So there was like, my primary, say there was like, I don't know, a few hundred people, they all went to Coatbridge as well. And there was another one of the schools in Bailson went to Coatbridge. with Ambrose, so there's like half the schools basically from Bailson. So it wasn't a ball.
And I don't know, like, the layout of Coatbridge too much, you need to keep me right here, but I went to Catholic school in Saltcoats, and there was like a rivalry with the Protestant school, was like the other side of the sort of the park. Was there anything like that in Coatbridge?
I think it was one way, I think it's Coatbridge High, further down Coatbridge, near the main street, but it was, for like a bit of time, it was just all the wee arseholes that would like have bother with people. I was never bothered with that. The one in Bailson, there was like just your normal, like me, normal school. It was Bannerman. But you get pals with that school, do you know what I mean? From hanging about Bailson and stuff like that. So there was never any like aggression. Really, it was just like half your pals off of there, really.
So there probably was gangs at both schools, and they kind of tend to keep it between themselves, sort of thing.
Aye, you get all the wee guys and gangs and stuff like that, but I was never too bothered about that stuff. I just want to play football.
No, I was the same. I was into my football as well. And what about like once you started training and like covering like your amateur career and stuff like that? Have you ever had any situations like when you've been out, like, do people try and test you because you're a fighter, or because of, like you're saying, you're kind of like, you're very polite, you're always very personable, like nobody really bothers with you?
No, nobody's never really like an arsehole then. You get people, they'll joke, like, oh, you're a fighter, I could take you and stuff like that. But it happens all the time, and you hear all the stories about how, oh, I know I'd be a great fighter. Like, you see the joke about like people say they see red and just, I don't know what would happen. I'm scared for that guy. It's not quite as bad as that, but you get all the, oh, as a wee boy I was great at this, and I'd be some fighter. My mum always said, blah blah blah. But nobody, you just have to laugh it off. People they don't know what they're saying. They're not being like aggressive or anything like that. So you're just like, I'm sure, mate. Aye, you do well. But you get that a lot. I've never had anybody be too aggressive or anything like that.
I think it's maybe nerves, like when people, they've maybe not met a lot of fighters, have been around gyms, so when they meet them they think, oh, I have to act like in a certain way with a drink or whatever.
I think it might be worse for other people, I don't know for everybody's experience, but I've never been too bad with it. I think it depends if you get introduced as a fighter, if that makes sense. It's a wee bit weirder. I'll never go about going like, hi, my name's Michael, I do MMA. Do you know what I mean? Just like, if it gets brought up, it gets brought up. Half the time I don't even like telling people, because you've just got that, what's that, what you doing that for, what? And you have to, Conor McGregor made it easier. See, when Conor McGregor got like really big, and you say MMA, and they're like, what? And you're like, do you know Conor McGregor? Aye. You're like that stuff. Like, alright, cool. Whereas before you'd be explaining to like somebody, like your granny or something like that. Like, what is that stuff? And you're like, you heard of that, boy? Aye, right, cool, it's that stuff.
Do you think people judge you like negatively? Like if you're, say, like you're meeting a bird on a night out or whatever, or like you're in a social setting, you say you're a fighter, do you think that there's a perception about what fighters are like?
I think there might be a wee bit, but I think it's better. I'd imagine it's much better than it was however long ago. Probably better now than it was 2-3 years ago. Never mind, like 15-20 years ago. Just the more it gets into the kind of mainstream, people become a wee bit more knowledgeable about it. They see the training that goes behind it and stuff. They know it's not just guys getting in with their taps off just swinging. It still is a wee bit weird explaining it to people though. Aye, what'd you do? Aye, I fight people in a cage. That's my job. Aye.
Because one of the reasons I was asking there is my son, he's at school with Paul McVeigh's daughter. So I think his wife's like a doctor, and he was running events and all that, and the papers obviously interviewed them, and they were like, this is fucking so bizarre. There's this guy who fights in a cage with his tap off, and he's like going with a doctor, and she's like doing the fights. But I don't know, I was always like, same as you, once I started I was always into boxing when I was younger, like watching it with my dad, and then when I started watching UFC, I was just like, oh, this is fighting, but like a more sort of extreme version. So I've never really, I think fighters have got an interesting like perspective on life. Like when you watch Embedded and all that, like they're always like cooking their own food, and they know a lot about nutrition. They've got like an interesting sort of life philosophy, I think.
Aye, it has to be slightly different to the kind of norm, where you have to understand how your body works, all that stuff, the best way to train, different energy systems and all that, and all those kind of stuff. Your nutrition, like you said, you need to understand it. If you don't, you get kind of left behind, and you just make life hard for yourself. Like, especially when it comes to weight cutting. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not preparing properly, you're just making your life so difficult. So like, people start to panic a wee bit, read up on it, all that kind of stuff. Same with like, and just being for myself, you get worried about missing weight, all that kind of stuff. So you figure that out.
you get worried about getting tired, so you start figuring out, all right, how can I train properly and not get tired? Am I doing the right stuff? Blah blah blah. And then you see all the mental side. I'm not too big on the kind of mental aspect of it. Some people are much more into that than me, with like visualization and training your mind and all that stuff. I think that just comes kind of naturally to myself. I'm not too worried about practicing it. But some people are really into that. Like you see John Jones and go on meditations in the mountains and all that. Ida Prohaska, run away to the woods into dark rooms and stuff. Like, that's not quite my cup of tea, but people get a wee bit strange with it.
I thought that was really interesting. See when Prohaska called it Big Potan about using shamans and all that. I was like, this is fucking like, I'm not like the mental warfare behind that was really interesting. I thought.
Oh, it was fascinating. You look at it and you go, what the fuck's this big guy talking about? He's using black magic and all that, but like it's just that it's kind of a interesting insight into like the kind of fighter's mind at certain points where they're just looking for any kind of advantage, and you get worried if he's got the advantage more so than actual fucking black magic getting used. But you're like, right, what is he doing this stuff that I'm not doing? Is that helping him win? Do I need to start doing it? He's away high on shamans and stuff like that. But
like when Prohaska said it at first, I was kind of thinking, oh, this is no good for like Prohaska, and then I was like, oh, he's just trying to get in his head, we'll sort of see, and then obviously in the big game won, then he sort of said after, look, if he's no found like whatever lightens him spiritually, I thought, fair play sort of thing.
At the end of the day, it's just what makes you perform the best. You seen it with Jared Cannonier a wee while ago. He had all the rocks and the stones and that stuff. He was getting interviewed and he's talking about this one gives me power and this gives me. I think that's a lot of shite. You see it with birds get obsessed with the stones and stuff like that, and like astrology. I think it's nonsense. But if that's what gives you the edge when you go in there fighting someone or day to day life, you're like, I'm in a bad mood. Where's my favourite fucking rock? That's going to harness my energy. If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. So
I know, live and let live is what I say. So
as long as it's not the other way when you're like, oh, the astrology, or it says I'm going to have a bad day today, I'm just going to be a cow because the stars say that I'm entitled to a bad day. If it's like positive, batter in. But if it starts getting that negative, you're like, right.
I hope none of your ex-birds are watching this, Michael. What about, so you've not been dipping your knuckles in petrol recently then?
No, I was thinking about it though. And you see big Aspinall until I said it was a joke. I was like, I need to see how this fight goes and then I maybe have to start.
There's some cunts out there who still think he's actually doing it, which I find bizarre. Like
100%, you'll have, I bet you a good couple thousand people are dipping their hands in petrol just after seeing that, or after hearing him talk about
10% of them probably training to hit squad.
No, definitely. Some of the wee boys are taking their hands out now, try to wipe them off.
No, one of the other things we were sort of talking about before, but you were saying obviously you went to uni for a few years and you were like actively sort of training at this time. So what was that like when you must have been getting the bug for it and getting sort of obsessed with it and maybe saying to your family, like, I'm thinking about competing at amateur level? How was that?
Actually telling if I was going to compete was fine. Like, no one ever really tried to talk me out of it or anything like that. They were always quite supportive. It was tough at times, just trying to juggle fights and studying kind of stuff. So there was a couple times I had fights during or like at the same time as exams. So we were having to come into uni all day, leave, go train, eat, come back into uni at 9 o'clock at night and then do that for a couple of weeks. That was always a pain in the arse. That was when I didn't understand diet and all that kind of stuff. So I was just starving myself to make weight for things. Remember sitting going to libraries down the road at Strathclyde. There was no point in me even coming in because I was just starving. I had a protein bar with me and I was trying to walk in the computer and I was just looking at the time and I was like, I'll have this at 10:30. I'll eat it, and I done fucking nothing until 10:30 just thinking about this protein bar. Like, that was how stupid I was. But you'll see that with lots of the younger guys, they just don't understand the diet aspect of it, and you could divide that, no bother. It wouldn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but you just get obsessed. So that was tough at times. We tried to juggle fighting and studying, and then just went to study because everyone's studying at night. Do you know what I mean? For the most part, during the day, you go do something, have a wee stud, like look over stuff before you go into uni the next day. I was in getting battered and having to figure out when I was right, I'll do this before I go get battered because I'm not gonna fuck studying after I've just been punched about for an hour and a half. So that was, trying to find the balance was interesting, but it was good at the same time where you're only in uni 6 months of the year. Do you know what I mean? September to December, and then it's really like January to April, something like that. So you had all this free time in between. I just batter in, go to training.
Aye. And you mentioned weight cutting briefly there. Like, do you cut much weight? And you don't need to mention specifically, obviously, but because you look trimmed, like you look as though you're no far away.
I've got like a decent bit, nothing too mental. I'm normally about 10 kilo, which is probably about the norm for just in general, especially like a kind of pro level. Some people are more, some people are less, just depends. I always find it not easy, but it's not too bad. But me, yeah, you're not obviously buzzing about it, but you get it done, like not too bad. So you lose 3 or 4 kilo diet, and then you do the rest on the week with water loading, cutting your carbs, all that kind of stuff. That's the fight week stuff when it gets a bit of a pain in the arse, but at the same time, you know you're almost there, so it's not the end of the world.
Aye. So, because I seen Leon Edwards, somebody posted whoever's obviously working his nutrition this week, and he's had like quite a lot of food, I would have said. Like, it was like 3 decent meals and like a couple of snacks, and obviously he's training all the time, so like it's probably similar to what I would eat in a day, even if I'm not like training and I'm a fat bastard. So I was thinking, is that getting better? Like when you were mentioning obviously the young team sort of coming through, like Solig and all that, like would you just pull them aside and say, listen, these are the mistakes I've made, like this is how you should try and like manage your diet going forward, sort of thing?
You try and help people out as best you can, so all that stuff, like it helps through those kind of videos of Leon Edwards coach and stuff that they're putting up. It does inform people that wee bit better. You know that I can eat other stuff as long as I'm not having certain amounts of carbs and all this blah blah blah. Then you get people like Sean Hutton, who's Sean Hutton, but he's a fucking idiot. Where you be like, right, don't eat 50 grams of carbs. 50 grams of carbs for your day, that's you. Right, cool, but you'll do it with cookies. And you're like, right, don't have salt. What about potassium? That's a form of salt. Don't take potassium. He's taking potassium tablets because he thinks it combats sodium and all that stuff. He's not a chemist. Don't know why he's taking them, and then he's having a tough time making weight. So, Sean Hutton, fucking up your game. But the more information you get, the easier life is to make weight. So it's just trying to let all the younger guys know, right, you can't go too in depth because it does get a bit mental. But like, right, this is how you should water load, this is what you should be looking for, carbs and stuff like that. Count your calories, make sure you're eating enough. That's one of the main problems, is people don't eat enough. So you don't eat enough, then your body starts like holding on to weight and water, and then you're not going to lose it later on when you need to lose it. So it's like, try to inform people, especially younger guys. But if they listen, it's apart from Sean Hunt. So, aye.
And what about your amateur career then? Any sort of stories and any sort of memorable fights or nights for that time?
I had a couple experiences amateur. I'm trying to think. There was one, like I'm saying, I just starved myself trying to make weight, and I had to make 72 kilos same day down south. I remember going down, making the weight, and then, so 72 kilos same day, I can't get to 72 without cutting for like, I need 5 weeks notice to make that now, and then I'd rehydrate and I'd be 80 kilo. I like closed it soon after, but made the weight, we went to Nando's, and I remember Brian going, like, don't eat too much, your stomach's all like shrunk. I'm like, right, cool, no worries. 3 sides, all the stuff. I remember I was fighting earlier than I thought I was, so I was supposed to be the 7th fight or something like that. They were like, oh, we've changed it, you're the 3rd fight or the 4th fight. I thought, I'm going to shite myself. I'm going to shite, I'm going to be sick, something's going to happen here. Get in, start fighting, take the guy down, I'm going to wait everywhere, man. Having to like hold it in, stuff like that. There's a wee bit, I'm not doing much, and you hear the refs like, right, start moving, I'm fucking trying to not be sick on the guy. But I think if you're sick, that's the fight over. Like, you can't be sick, you can't shite.
Aye, like, exchange your body fluids.
Bodily fluids in that shoe, so I'm trying to hold this in, like, this is disgusting. Yeah, that was a strange one. I get through that though. Fought during lockdown, that was interesting. Like right in the middle of the kind of August time in 2020. So I was down in Manchester, we had to drive down, me, Brian and Chris. We had to park, it was in a gym, and I don't think it was Manchester top team, but it was down Manchester way. Park outside the gym, you had to wait for like your slot to come in, kind of stuff. You had to do a test and all that. And then it was all curtained, there was no fans, there was just a cage, no music, all this kind of stuff. It was like very, very weird. That was an interesting experience, but aye, couple strange ones in there. And then there's other stuff I've probably blocked out.
Aye, trauma.
Aye.
What about how long into your amateur career did you think, or did you always know you're like, I'm going to go pro, like regardless of what the record is in the amateurs, because you were undefeated in the amateurs, right? So
I always wanted to go pro eventually, but I was just waiting. I always thought I'd just wait until Brian tells me. So before my last amateur fight, I think it was a couple of days before, Brian messaged me saying, you're fighting in Bellator in like 6 weeks, pro debut. I was like, what are you talking about? So there's been a pull out, I put your name forward, you go fight this Irish boy. Again, it was in the middle of lockdown. But so I had my last amateur fight knowing that. I remember being in the cage and the guy was holding me, was like, I can't lose this cunt and fucking try and fight Bellator in a couple of weeks. So I eventually beat that guy and then was training for Bellator to make my pro debut, and that guy got injured. And then they didn't want to get a replacement. So that was me kind of, right, you're going pro now. I probably would have liked looking back to have a couple more amateur fights, but it was, we were talking about earlier, it was tough to get matched, and there was like loads of pullouts and stuff like that, amateur. So at that point we're like, right, just batter in, go pro.
Folk might be interested in, do you get paid in an amateur? Is there any sort of expenses or like a fee for a fight?
Some shows will give you like £100, £200 if you're lucky. They're like the kind of better shows. If you're doing it for amateurs, you're a good guy. Whoever's running the show, you kind of should be, because they are coming selling tickets. You'll get commission on your tickets, so normally it's like a £10 a ticket. So if your ticket's 30, £40, I don't know if it's any more with like tables and stuff like that, if you get like the bigger packages, but you'll get like commission, and then sometimes they'll do like travel, travel expenses. If it's short notice, they'll maybe pay someone. If most of the time it's because someone sold a lot of tickets. So let's say me and you are fighting, I pull out, but you've sold 30 tickets, and they're like, right, we want to keep him on the show. Send the message out, right, £250 plus, anyone wants to fight next week. So that's one way to kind of make money, but it's normally off tickets sold. You get a wee bit of commission.
Aye, no, fair dues. And then I think some people maybe know you for obviously Corner, like Paul Craig was obviously at the Scottish Hit Squad for a long time. So, like, what were some of those experiences like going to the Performance Institute, and presumably you've met a lot of the sort of top fighters in the world and meeting Dana White and all that sort of stuff?
Aye, that stuff was mad. That was quite surreal in the beginning. So again, that was during lockdown. Quite a lot happened to me in lockdown before.
You were fucking, you only isolating anyway,
I know,
Michael.
mate, busy. Oh, to be fair, so we went to, it was Fight Island I went with Paul. But that was you to isolate. You had to go to London first, do a test, isolate for 2 days in this room by yourself. Then you flew to Abu Dhabi, and you had to isolate with someone. So it was me and Chris for 2 days in the room. And you're just looking outside, wanting fresh air. Like, I'm going mental here. I've not basically been outside in 4 days. But aye, that was quite surreal when you just walk about and you see Robert Whittaker walking about, and you see Bruce Buffer, and like everybody's just walking about getting a coffee and doing whatever. And Paul, Brian and Chris had been about the UFC for a wee while, so they would know people and start bumping into them, talking to them, blah blah blah, and you're like just sitting looking at people. Like, are you alright? Big Gustafsson on the bus talking away, and I'm like, that's big fucking Gustafsson. They're talking away to him. So that was quite surreal. Again, it was kind of eye-opening with, you see how relaxed everyone is. Everyone's quite nice and cordial, even guys that when they were fighting each other. And then you see even like warming up in the changing room, there's not much difference between what people like some of the highest kind of the biggest stars would do compared to what we would do in our gym. So like it's quite a positive experience when you're like, oh, we're not far off, we're doing like similar stuff to everyone else, so there's not like a massive change.
And would you be like training with some of these guys like when you're there, or because you're on like cornerman duty or whatever, it doesn't happen as much? Or
you wouldn't really get a lot of training them with anyone. I don't know if it's maybe a couple of rolls in every now and again. We just kind of stuck to ourselves and went about our kind of day-to-day stuff. You would get some training with Chris and some grappling with Paul when he needed stuff. But aye, it was good. You would just, even in the warm-up room, you see like Leon Edwards fought in the same show. When he fought in 8 years, Paul fought in that show. Just see how he's warming up, different stuff. Damien Maya came in, just went to sleep. I'm sleeping for ages. He was fighting after Paul, but I think he fought Bilal Muhammad. I think he lost, but or he did lose. But I don't know what time he woke up at, but I'm sure he was still sleeping and still like chilling when Paul was fighting. That was like maybe 2 or 3 fights before him. So it's just interesting looking at everyone's kind of, you can see their perspective on it. Whereas you go to amateur shows and you see wee guys run about like setting themselves up 2 hours before, you're like, that's not going to, you're going to go have like a dip in energy. So it's just kind of figuring it. You can see people have been doing it a while, they're just calm. Do you know what I mean? How people handle different situations, but it's like the highest level fighters, how they deal with it, and it's quite, gives you a little wee bit of a boost, oh, it's not too far off what I'm doing.
I know, it sounds interesting, like getting that kind of first-hand perspective, obviously. And what would you approach, like, the fighters for any advice? Like, would you be chatting to them, or are you kind of more standoffish?
Not really. If a conversation happened, you would just talk away. Do you know what I mean? If it was like natural, if they'd maybe come up, maybe a few years or sitting by the pool and whatever scenario, and people come up and start talking away. I wouldn't go up and try and ask for photos or anything like that. Always, people are just going about their day-to-day stuff. Like, I'm not going to hassle them. I've never been big into that anyway, going up to ask for photos and autographs and things like that. But it's interesting when you just talk away and you would end up talking about fighting in some capacity, and you would ask away at stuff. Talking to Paul Felder about dealing with leg kicks from Barbosa and stuff like that. Like, it would just pop up in conversation. You're like, how sore was that? I was sore. It was sore. Yeah, right, cool. I thought I looked at. But just wee things like that would pop up in conversation. But it was interesting.
So they seem, again, like you're saying, my impression of these folk is they all seem pretty sound. So if you ask about, like, did they say, oh, I was blocking like this, but I should have been like that? Like, is there that transfer information?
I think if you go really in depth, but I was never like trying to really analyse anything with them. Everyone's quite open and like willing to talk about the stuff. Do you know what I mean? No one's really, like, anyone that I've met anyway. I've not really met anyone that's a dick. Like, now I'm thinking about it. Some people are a wee bit more standoffish, but you're like, at the end of the day, people are halfway through a weight cut when you meet a lot of them. Yeah, so they're not wanting to talk too much, but no one's ever been like rude or anything like that to me. You see them at any fight shows, everyone's always been quite cordial, say hello, how you doing, all that kind of stuff, if you know them. So, always had good experiences with people in MMA.
And what about, like, training with other gyms? Like, have you done that in the past? Are you open to that? Or some people don't like it, I think, because they think I'm going to be fighting with this guy, or I'll like a teammate of his guy, it seems like. I've
always been open to it. So we'll go down to TFT and the Fisher's gym, and down near Newcastle, Sunderland area. I can't mind exactly. We'll go down there semi-regularly, and they'll come up and we'll get some sparring in, stuff like that, and Brian and Fisher will share, like, oh, what you've been working on, like, shows that, oh, we've been doing this, what do you think about that? You get some sparring rounds with them, always cracking rounds with them, do a lot with James Hendon and Fisher for the past past year or so, and then asking questions to them. Right, you were holding me down there, how did you do this? And they're always happy to show you. Same, we went down to Manchester top team a wee while ago to get some rounds in. Everybody's always open to cross train for the most part. It's always like a kind of back and forth exchange. I think everyone looks at it as beneficial to everyone. I think you'd still fight guys from those gyms. It's just as long as, like, I wouldn't fight any of the guys I've been training with and stuff like that. I wouldn't really fight them because I'm going down to train a lot. Brian and Fisher are fine with amateur guys fighting. It's not a big deal, it's amateur. You go in, you just go in and get some experience. It's always been like a good relationship between with the gym at TFT. Go down there, train quite regularly.
Not sound. And what about obviously, like, Paul's a mainer, so he's at higher level, and there's been a few fights at amateur level, I think, between high level and the hit squad. I think Ryan fought a boy, and then you were going to fight him in the pros. Like, is that, like, intensified the rivalry? It was always kind of a healthy rivalry anyway, just because we're kind of geographically close to each other.
It's never been like too big, like a really big rivalry with me. It's just another gym that people train at. Do you know what I mean? I think people read into it a wee bit more. I don't think no one at the hit squad's really bothered by it. Or bothered by that gym. You look at it, they look good fighters, good coaching. So you're like, anytime you see them fight, you want the best. Do you know what I mean? I think you want Scottish fighters to win. Fought a couple guys with it. Supposed to fight guys with it, but it's never. They've all, again, see them in at shows and stuff like that. Everybody's always been cordial to me, so nothing bad to say.
So there wouldn't be a difference between, obviously, if you're fighting a grip house fighter versus like a higher level fighter sort of thing?
Nah, not really. Nah, I'd look just be the same thing to me. At the end of the day, like, you're in to fight people, so it's not like it's not like you get raging at them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm no falling out with them. It's just like that's just like your job, if that makes sense. It's kind of like football. You're like you can have pals on other football teams, but like a few other guys went to high level when Paul went, but I'm still kind of pal with him. You still talk away. Big Paul, still message him every now and again. Like always, hope the best for them. I look at it like playing football. Sometimes people leave to go to other teams. Sometimes people for other teams will join yours. You compete against these other teams. It's not a big, not that fucking hate Dundee. And then next week fucking hate Livingston. Like you just got on with it. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's a good way to look at it. What about like with your transition from the amateurs to the pros? Then, like, has your style changed at all? Like, how would you describe your fighting style, Michael? Are you at to like stand and bang like Gaethje, or are you not bothered about taking a cunt down and try to submit him?
I've always thought I'll just go with like the path of least resistance. So I'll start standing. If the person's got good stand up, right, let's see how their grappling is. If their grappling's shit hot, right, cool, let's go back to standing. How are they against the cage? And just give them a couple of different options until I find the easiest way to win. If I'm doing well standing, I'll keep it standing kind of stuff. If I need to kick more, just listen to your coaches. You get a rough game plan before going in, right? This guy's a grappler, try and keep it standing, all that stuff. This guy's good on the back, stay away from here, don't do this stuff. But for the most part, I'm kind of quite easy with going with the flow. Wherever the fight takes me, the fight takes me. I think if you get too caught up on details, sometimes if it doesn't go well, you start to, or people can panic. Right, keep it standing, you get taken down. Fuck, I need to get up. You just waste unnecessary energy. So it's just being able to adapt. I'm going to sound like Luke Rockhold, adapt, overcome, all that kind of stuff. Conceive, believe, achieve. Wherever the fight goes, you need to be comfortable. Like at this point in MMA, if you're not well-rounded, if you can't take a person down, if you can't clinch with them, if you can't get out of these positions, you're going to get left behind. It's kind of past the point of strikers, grapplers, like specialists. Obviously, there's certain positions you don't want to be hanging about in. A wee bit more urgency to get up off the back, don't get held against the cage at certain points, but for the most part, everyone's well-rounded now. People have obviously strengths and weaknesses, but for the most part, there's no anything like really obvious with everyone or with anyone anymore.
How does that work with you in the pro game now? Like, do you, when you find your opponents, do you do analysis on them, or do you just kind of rely on Brian and that to do that?
So I'll normally look at them. I'll watch a few of their fights, maybe once or twice when I first get the call or first get the shout to who I'm fighting. Just have a rough look at them. Right, this guy really likes a left kick. He throws a lot of low kicks. He does blah blah blah. I'll not go too in depth. Like you see John Jones talking about, he analyses everything. What their favourite punch is, what their tendencies are. Do they slip this way? Blah blah blah. I'm not too big on that again because I think I can get caught up in it. And you're like, what if the fuck he's not doing that? What if he changes a little bit? Especially at this level when people evolve so much in between fights. You look back, especially if you're fighting someone who's had a couple pro fights and you're having to look back at amateur days for fights and you're like, that's a different fighter. His last fight to four fights previous. So you can't really take too much. I try and analyse as much as you can without going too mental, and then I'll leave it up to Brian. Brian sees something, he's like, right, this guy's really good. He holds half guard this way, he does this, blah blah blah. He likes this takedown against the cage, and then you try and focus on that a wee bit in your training.
Aye, no, it makes sense. And did you ever get nervous, like, before your fights? You still get nervous, like, how?
You always get nervous before them. Aye. And I remember my first fight, I didn't know what was... You don't know what the emotions are and stuff like that, so you're still just kind of about, like, what the fuck's happening here? Second fight, I remember being more nervous than my first, because you know, right, this is going to be a bit mental in fucking half an hour. Like, this is going to be, right, get yourself psyched up, all that kind of stuff. The more you do it, the more at ease you become.
Were they checking your heart rate and all that before your first fight? Was that like a check?
They'll do it. Before every fight, you'll do your medicals, so they'll take you a couple of hours before the doctor will take your heart rate, blood pressure. Normally that's about it. Some shows will do better, like amateur anyway, some shows will do more in-depth medicals. Jump up, right, how's the wee thing that hit the hammer on your knee, all that kind of stuff, like check your ears, check your eyes. They're the kind of better shows. Some shows it's heart rate, blood pressure, right, you're sound, let's go. But the more you do it, the more kind of comfortable you get with how you're feeling. You know, you should be nervous. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go fight somebody in a cage with your clothes off, basically. Like, it's a bit of a strange thing to do. But you see, the more, like I was saying, the more experience you've got, or the more you've been about it, you see how different people handle it. Some guys need to psych themselves up, they run a bit mad, Bungard screams, pours water over his head, he's ready to go. Some people have to do really long warm-ups. Some people just look like they're going to shops. Like Jordan just looks like he's walking about. He could be going to shops, he could go walk a dog, and then he's ready to go out fighting. So some people need to get really psyched up, some people are sound. It's just finding out what works best for you, where you can go in too relaxed if you need to, if you think you need to psych yourself up a wee bit to stay sharp in the beginning, but it's just, again, it's through experience. That's why I tell some of the younger guys, you just want to compete as much as possible in the beginning, whether it's inter-clubs, amateur fights, jiu-jitsu tournaments. Obviously it's good to get the competition in, but it's learning how you compete best as well, which is really important. That you see all the Dagestanis and stuff with 300 amateur sambo matches, they go in there, they don't look bored at all, just because they've got all that experience. They know how to compete, they know how best to deal with all the emotions.
Aye, it's probably no good to build all that stuff, and I can speak with personal experience because I did my first one when I was like mid-30s, but I was alright. I was kind of nervous the night before, but in the morning, like once I got there, my nerves really started to get, I was like, oh my god, what did you do again? Like it was like I had a total brain fog, you know, and I was a bit nervous and I did fuck it up basically because of that, I think.
It's just part of it, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just learning through experience. You see the difference with, especially jiu-jitsu competitions, people who fight and people who just do jiu-jitsu. Anyone who fights walks about going, this is going to be good fun, nobody's going to punch me, I get to go grapple, all that kind of stuff. You see some of the newer jiu-jitsu guys shiting themselves, fucking sighting themselves up and all that kind of stuff. Again, more experienced guys, they'll just run about having a laugh with their pals, just we joke, right, you're on mat 3, alright, cool. When you go, whereas other guys are like fucking stoned, sighting themselves up, bouncing about in the spot, all that kind of stuff. If that gets you going, if that's how you need to compete, then batter in. The more you do it, the easier it gets. That's the best bit of advice you can give people. If you're nervous and scared, just do it nervous and scared. I'm sure that's a Will Smith quote. You're scared, just do it scared. But that always helped me. Like, you're doing it anyway, so you can be shitting yourself about it or you can not. It doesn't matter, you're going to be doing it. So.
It's a combination anyway, like between sort of anxiety and excitement, if I can get the fucking word out. What about, it's interesting you mentioned the jiu-jitsu, like I'm guessing, like you're saying, because you're not getting punched in the face, like you're a lot less nervous for that, and like what we've talked about the mental warfare, like you don't give me an impression that you engage in that much. Would you try and psych somebody out like before either a grappling match or a fight, or is that not really your game?
No, I've never been big into the psyching people out. You see it, sometimes you're fighting people, try and stare in your eyes and look about, and you've watched the Mike Tyson video and they'll try to replicate it. In my head, we're going to fight in, at that point, 30 seconds time, so I'm not that bored. Like, you're going to punch me, I'm going to punch you. You can look into my eyes and try and no blink. Like, I'm not too bored about it. Especially the day before when you get the weigh-ins and people try to flaunt and psych themselves up and stuff like that still, but I'm never that bothered. I just look at the guy and you're waiting. It's always weird. You've just made weight, you're all dehydrated, you're in your pants, and you're standing in front of a crowd of people, and people try to like pose in attention. You're like, this is a bit weird, man. I just want to fucking go lie down. So I've never been too bored about that.
There's never been like something that's happened to piss you off at like one of these, like nobody's tried to annoy you or push you or anything to make me think I'm going to fucking smash this cunt tomorrow. No,
not really. See, before, after you've made weight, you're a bit raging just at the person having to make weight, so you're like, I'm going to fucking smash this guy tomorrow for making me do this. I have never been like too wound up. I think they need to do something daft for me to get annoyed at them. I'm quite a relatively calm person, so like I think other people you'd maybe be able to like get under their skin a wee bit easier, but I don't think I'd be too bothered. Not had MD mental anyway, before fighting, but I will wait and see if we get MD fucking a bit.
It might be a mixed opponent, you might try and rile you up, Michael.
I know, I could do. Listen to this or that fucking, let's go under his skin.
We're kind of chatting about this off camera, but you don't know who your next opponent is, like the matchmakers are still putting the card together, is that right?
Aye, so a good few guys for the gym are fighting. There's myself, Chris Bungard, Jordan Strong, Igor, and Ryan Campbell's fighting this time. So Bungard and Ryan have opponents. Myself, Jordan and Igor are still waiting. But I think that was because Cage Warriors, they had the big show last week with the first prize fighter thing. And then they had a show on Thursday there. So I think once they get that out of the way, matchmaker like Ian Dean can get the head down, try and sort out the Glasgow card. So giving them the benefit of the doubt there. So hopefully they get the finger out.
We don't want to slag them because
I know, exactly. I love you. I give somebody decent.
And what about as well? That was the last one was in Glasgow. Was that any different? Like fighting in front? Obviously, they probably presumably had more like friends and family than you would have had at previous fights, and you've been travelling down to England and that sort of stuff.
It was a wee bit different, but it didn't get overwhelming or anything. At the end of the day, you're still going out to fight. The cage is still the same, just slightly bigger. You know what I mean? Environment's still the same, but you're just doing it on a bigger scale. I mean, listen to a Chael Sonnen quote on Ultimate Fighter years ago, and he's talking about if you get a plank of wood and lie it down on the floor and you walk over it, you'd walk over it no bother. You put it on 2 step ladders and walk over it, and like, who wants a shot? And nobody's going to put their hands up. It's the exact same task, it's just the environment changes a little bit. So you looked at that way, it's not too bad, but it was brilliant afterwards, was when you can really like take it in, soak it in. Before you still try to stay focused and no look about. Be funny story on that. Ready to walk out, so your opponent goes first on the walkout, or my opponent went first to walk out. They pull you out for the back and you're standing like in front of the crowd, kind of stuff, so you're like looking into the cage as he's walking in. It's in Braehead anyway. So I'm standing, looking at the cage, try to stay focused, and my wee bra's front and centre, fucking steaming, flash on the camera, just screaming, but he's non-stop screaming, just, come on Michael. I'm in my head, I'm like, Martin, fucking shut up, man. Try to stay focused, try to stay at this cage, walking by, he's gone mental, his pals, I'm like, I'm going to fucking put his balls after this. I was furious, man. He'd just been drinking all day, just excited, but I'm trying to stay focused here, trying to not look at him, just right there. I'm not going to fucking put his boys.
That's funny. And what about, you know, get like a nickname, Michael? Or you just go out as Michael Blair? Or like?
No, just Michael Blair, no yet.
And you know what, man? Can we not set you up with one?
Andy Camel gave us one years ago. He said the masterpiece. But I was like, that's a bit fucking...
A bit wanky,
aye. I'm like, nah, I'm not going with that. So that gets picked up every now and again. But nah, I'm no...
Any other suggestions, no?
Not had any, nah. Batter in if you've got...
I don't know, I was thinking about Michael the Butcher Blair or something. No.
There we go, that one's not bad. You need somebody else to get to as well.
And you can't make up yourself.
You can't come up with a cool one yourself. Try to work into conversation. Well, I was at the Butcher's that day, so I can go to the Butcher's tomorrow as well, but try to subliminally work it in. But something
about Bayliston, mate, you could maybe fit something in there, because it's people tend to try and tie it in with the names, don't they?
Aye, open to suggestions.
Aye, well, if cunts want to give you a nickname, I'm sure like the ring announcers and that be probably good at that. Maybe Bruce will have one for you.
I know, aye. They love that stuff. Some people love all that, some people aren't bothered, but...
It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? But some people, that's like their moniker, isn't it? Like,
it's what they go by, aye. Paddy the Baddie. Do you know what I mean? There's some nicknames you know the fighters as before.
Aye, their actual surname.
Is that like Potan? You're like, he's up there, Wonder Boy.
I actually forgot, what is his name again? That was annoying.
Big Alex.
Aye, Alex Breyer.
Aye, like Rumble Johnson. Do you know what I mean? You've got all these like iconic fighters that you just know. Rampage. Imagine calling him Quentin.
Oh, Rampage is a much cooler name anyway.
Aye, but I'm sure somebody else gave him that name. You can't be cutting about calling yourself Rampage.
And I bet you some of them, I'd like to know that actually. Somebody could get a wee database of the ones that have made up themselves.
I know. People would keep that quiet though. They're not admitting to
that. Connor, I think he's came up with notorious himself. So
somebody's not gave that's quite a good one though for him. But aye, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's still a big anyway, I think. So, you mentioned the baddie there then, so that takes us on nicely. Obviously UFC tonight. Michael, who are you looking forward to seeing and what are you thinking about the fights tonight?
It's a cracking fight card, to be fair. It's a bit shite. It's on at 3-4 in the morning. I know every fight fan in Britain is still upset about that, because any big fight show, you have to record it the next morning or stay up and watch it. You stay up and watch it, you're burst. You're all, like, your sleep patterns out the window. Or you record it and you're trying to stay away from your phone when you're watching it in the morning. Somebody messages you, I did it with the Max Holloway gets you one, recorded it, try to watch it the next morning. I didn't know the result, but I seen one of my pals go, can't believe it happened in the last second. I was like, fucking hell, man. Like, something happened here. Didn't know who won, who lost, but you're still like, it takes away a wee bit of the excitement. So a bit, still annoyed at that. Some cracking fights, looking forward to seeing Tom Aspinall. For a big guy, he moves ridiculous. That's a cracking fight. Leon Edwards fight, I still think will be quite interesting. And then you actually Paddy Pimblett fight. Paddy Pimblett fights brings a crowd in, has a lot of eyes on it. So you want to see if he can live up to the hype, or if the hype train gets derailed.
I would like to see him winning. You mentioned it earlier, obviously, like, kind of local to us. It would be good for like all you guys at the gym potentially, because a future match up there maybe, if he does well. So
I think he's a good fighter. I think he's underrated as well. I think he's solid grappler. He's game as fuck. Again, you see him doing about the Cage Warrior shows. Nice enough guy. Bumped into him once or twice. His head's massive. See in person, he does have a big head. I don't know if it's the hair and stuff. The hair adds to it, but you're like, fucking hell, man. This guy's got a substantial fucking head on him.
Aye, so we're a good target for King Green. I think Paddy will win. I think he'll either submit him or he'll probably win like a decision. He'll probably grind the decision it.
Aye, I think he'll get the takedown. He'll be able to ride him out. But then Bobby Green's hands are brilliant, but he's getting up there in age as well. I think he's like 37 or something like that. One of those you never know though, so I'm looking forward to watching it, where you do have, me personally, I've got no idea how it can go, so they're the kind of best fights when you're just open to, right, let's see what happens here.
Paddy, has he been stopped before?
No, I don't think so. I think he's been submitted back when he was like a wee boy, but
never stopped.
Never knocked out.
See, that would make me think that he'll probably be able to stand, like, however it goes on the feet, and then, like, he will eventually, there'll be some sort of scramble to a takedown, and then I think his jiu-jitsu, he'll be able to control things, maybe.
Aye, I think if he gets it down, he's definitely got the advantage. But then when he strikes, he leaves his chin up there, and Bobby Green, he's a cracking boxer, so I can see him catching him. If he gets knocked out at some point, it's just the name of the game. You do this enough times, you're going to get caught. So it's just a matter of, I think at this point he's kind of got everyone waiting to see if he gets knocked out. So he's talked that bigger game. So you see me like Mayweather, and you watch a Mayweather fight to see if he loses.
You're talking about Paddy here?
Paddy, aye. You almost watch it like people are tuning in to kind of see him lose a wee bit. Like, right, let's see if this fucking loudmouth guy's, because he got to live up to hype, he wins. Some people get annoyed, but I'm not too bothered about him. So
I see. I don't know. He's obviously quite opinionated, but I've never really disliked him. Like, since he wasn't really on my radar when he was in Cage Warrior. No lie. When he came into UFC, obviously he was like you're saying. I think he was very, very popular, and they put a lot of effort in behind promoting him quite quickly. But it never bothered me. But I could see how the likes of like Ian Gary's and all that, they're more like Marmite characters. Like, I think I don't know if they've got the balance as right as what the likes of Paddy does.
It's interesting when you can tell who's just going off their own personality and who isn't. So you see like Paddy Pimblett, I'd imagine he's that guy off camera as he is on camera. You see some guys try to sell fights, but you can tell who's authentic, who isn't. Do you know what I mean? So like, you kind of gravitate towards those authentic people, just in general.
I completely agree, and like that brings us on to Bilal then. Like, I think Bilal's a wee bit like that now. I think Edwards. See what you think, but I think Edwards is going to win, and comfortably. I think he could stop him, or
I think there's a chance he stops him late, or I think he just outpoints him 50-45. Like you said, it does seem a wee bit unauthentic. Bilal, at a certain point, I don't mind people being a wee bit special in a big fight, because they're trying to sell the fight, try to get eyes. He's probably making more money if he sells a fight. But it's the kind of sell your soul type thing, isn't it? Like, you see Kobe Covington, you're like, fair play, after a while, made himself a lot more money. But then there's some points, some lines you're crossing, you're like, you're just being, like, you're just a cunt now. Like, it's going past like selling fights, it's kind of selling your soul a wee bit. If he's like that, then I wouldn't say fair play, but like, makes it a wee bit more understandable. But you ever seen like the old, I'm sure it's like Tales from the Grind video, it's following Masvidal and Covington and stuff like that in Florida, say like 10 years ago, and you see them interacting and stuff, but they seem just normal running mill fighters, and it's interesting. You see like the turn with Kobe Covington.
I mean,
like, he's just selling his soul kind of stuff to get that fame.
Aye, well, obviously, like, I kind of like question about like, would you want to train me? Like, I don't think if I was a fighter, if I would.
Nah. See, if you know stories about someone being either disrespectful to everyone they've trained with, or a bad training partner, you don't really want to train them. There's certain guys, our gym's always been good, but there's certain guys you go with and you know they just go hard right away, or they're just a bit fucking stupid. They'll no understand how hard they're going, they'll fall funny on you, they'll this stuff, they'll start off light and then they'll go hard, but you don't want to train with those guys. Do you know what I mean? Like day in, day out. Sorry, every now and again you can go, wait, I want my hard spar, I'll go with so-and-so. But day in, day out, you want to go with people you can trust, people you can either physically trust to no hurt you, or that they're not going to go about talking about your training sessions as well. That's never really happened in the gym, but like, especially someone that you don't want to be training, doing your hard sparring before a fight, and someone's going to rip a Kimura on you. Alright, you get the Kimura, cool. Someone gets it back, they're not going to yank your face and hurt you before you've got a big opportunity. But just try to find those good people that you're around. So if someone's always chopping changing between gyms, you don't really have that trust with them. You see it with Ian Gary, you're like, how are you training in 6 different gyms in the span of 2 years? Like, there must be a common denominator here. But can it all be the gyms? There must be like some fault with yours, and it's a wee bit disconcerting if you get someone like that.
I've always wondered about that actually, like someone, if whatever, it might be a young boy, it might be an older guy, but I would imagine it's more likely to be a younger person when they come into the hit squad, and they, like you're saying, they're training too aggressively, and they're like, does that get knocked out of them? Would you have a wee conversation and be like, oh, fucking so-and-so's a bit of a bully or whatever? Like,
you'll see it quite quick. If someone's like an arsehole, they'll get weeded out quick, just because you start training, you do jiu-jitsu, you do boxing, or like more so in the jiu-jitsu and wrestling side, because someone much smaller can fling you about, and someone much more unassuming can, for lack of a better term, leather you. Arseholes, if they've got a bit of an ego, they're like, nah, fuck this, it's fucking gay. Guys rolling about each other. They'll not come back. If guys are going too heavy sparring, or they're taking advantage of people they're better than, someone better than them will go harder with them. And it's kind of like, it happens in jiu-jitsu, happens in sparring. I think in jiu-jitsu they call it like a mat enforcer. So if there's someone's a really good white belt, they're going with one of your guys and they're just flinging them about and doing all this stuff and taking the piss. One of the bigger guys, big purple or brown belt, black belt, will go, right, I'll go next round way, and then just fling them about. So you're no quite the biggest fish in the pond kind of thing. Happens in sparring, someone goes hard with someone they're better than, they'll get harder round the next round. One of the better guys go, right, I seen that, right, cool, wait, one blow with me. You just kind of, it doesn't really get brought up enough. Well, it doesn't get brought up as much. You'll still say like, oh, you went a wee bit hard with so-and-so. But everyone for the most part is quite, no caring, but like looking out for each other in that context.
Aye, maybe because the atmosphere in the gym, it just kind of self-polices itself. Maybe.
Exactly, that's the best way to explain it. Aye, self-polices. And you don't really need to have a word with anyone. It's quite, you'll say before, especially I'll coach some of the beginner sparring, there's some stuff you'll have to say to people. Like you have to tell people to calm down every now and again, which is fine. Some people don't understand, but they always listen. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, right, calm down now, and then they just go harder. There's also the fine line with, if someone lands a really good shot, you have to let the other person scud them back before you tell them to calm down. So if like me and you are sparring and I land a good right hand, and then whoever's coaching goes, alright Michael, calm down. You can't tell me to calm down and then you can't go back hard. You have to let you hit me back, and then right, two years calm down. So it's like there's almost a fine line where if I've landed 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 and it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get it back, alright, calm down. But you see people like that, fucking bastard.
I see. That's one thing I would say. Another thing I think I struggle with. I remember being at one of the Saturday morning classes, and then one of the boys, he does MMA now, and it's pretty good to be fair, but he hit me with like a right cross, and I kind of looked at him as if you fucking hit me hard there, but I don't know if it was just he timed it really well, or he's maybe went 60-70%, whatever it was, but he was kind of like, what? Like as if it's not, that wasn't hard, but I was kind of stumbled back and thought, you fucking prick, you know? So it's difficult to know, maybe 100%. Was that can't be in the order there, or he's just timed it perfect and you just get caught? That's what it is.
It's tough to figure that out in the beginning. Some people, they don't understand how hard they hit, especially bigger guys. They're like, I'm going 50%. You're like, but your 50% is different than someone smaller's 50%. So if I'm sparring with Igor throws at 60-70%. It's no fair for me to go 60-70% because it's just a different level of size and just mass hitting them. So like, you have to go lighter. It's fair if he's throwing stuff fast and hard because it's not the same level of power. Whereas if I'm going with one of the bigger guys and they're going 70-80%, you're like, right, cool. You have to say, like, calm down a wee bit. That's something people should be willing to do more as well. If you know what to spar hard, I know really what to spar hard. Right, that's a bit too hard for me. Can we go lighter? Not wrong with that at all. Unless you're competing, you shouldn't really be sparring too hard. If it's just a hobby kind of thing. Like you're saying, sometimes spars start getting a wee bit more aggressive. If someone throws a shot, you drop your hand, you walk into it, and it hits you, and it feels twice as hard. The person's no maybe put a lot of intent in it. It's just they've walked into it. Like you said, it's a wee bit slower than normal, and then they go, fucking, this prick's hit me dead hard, I'm going to hit him back hard. Then he's going, what's he hitting me back hard for? And it just gets up there and up there. Aye, so it's almost just making sure your ego's no too high. You also just get people who, they just spar hard. You just got unlucky in the beginning. You get MD Polish, they just spar hard. It's no even a stereotype, it's just true. Like, it's no, and they all admit it as well. Say, Shimmy and Michael were in drilling on Thursday for wrestling. I was like, right, just 10% resistance and let the person work. They're like, what is this 10%? You mean 90%? I'm like, aye, for Polish, 90% is your light. So they all know it as well. But aye, you want a warm up round, and you really want to wake up. You're like, right, where's the poles? Right, cool. Aye, it's just the more experience you get, the more you're doing it. You start figuring out who spars hard, who likes that, who doesn't mess about, and the guys who go a wee bit lighter.
I know, that's interesting. What about, have you ever seen any, you've been at the gym obviously a long time, so you ever seen any situation escalate where somebody has got leathered or somebody's came in and been leathered and then left or whatever, any stories like that?
Seen a good few doings, right enough. Nothing really like somebody taking advantage of somebody. Seen a couple guys get dropped, a hands. Seen a couple guys get knocked out just off catching kicks or dropping the hands, the kicks come up high. For the most part, you shouldn't really be hitting anyone hard enough that they're going to go down. Body shots are fair game. Body shots, body and legs. Batter as hard as you want. You just need to know the other person's going to match it. Headshots, it should be enough to hit the person, still be quick, but if you hit me dead hard in the head, or you hit me hard in the head, I should be able to go, oh, that would be really sore if you really put that in. I mean, it shouldn't be like, fuck, I'm alright, like, well, right, am I looking a bit? Aye. Especially with the wee gloves, you can't, the margin for error is so small in MMA sparring that if you start going hard, you're like, someone's going to get hurt here. Bigger gloves, you can kind of get away with it a wee bit safer. You've got double the size for the most part. You see people, it happens sometimes, guys filler gyms come in, they'll just go a wee bit too hard. And again, you don't know if it's nerves or something like that, and you've seen some doings. But for the most part, everyone's quite, not too bad with sparring in our gym.
Aye. What about PFL's coming as well back to Scotland? Would you go along to that? Are you looking for any fights in particular on that card?
Aye, I probably get a ticket, probably go have a watch. I think I was talking to Bungard about this. It's been a while since I've been able to just go to an MMA event just as like a neutral, no having to fight, no having to corner someone. Just go and enjoy the fights, especially if no fighting, you can have a beer. Sit down, like take it in, feel like immerse yourself as a fan. Some good fights on it. Interesting to see main event, all that kind of stuff. Gemma Auld fighting. Gemma's trained at Hit Squad a couple of times. Throughout the years, she trained at Neil Laird's gym for years, who was at Hit Squad for fucking ages and ages. Interested to see how she gets on with her pro debut. And then some of the boys at higher level fought Mark Ewan, supposed to fight Lorenzo, see how they go on. So hopefully a good fight card, hopefully good matches.
It's Whiteford and who else is it? On the main?
Roger Huerta.
Stevie Ray as well.
Aye.
Should be decent. And what about what was I going to say? You don't know who you're fighting, but obviously you're just getting ready for September, basically.
Just taking over, still training as if I've got someone, and I'm just focusing on my training rather than anything else. Just try tighten up any strengths, level up all the weaknesses, kind of stuff. Just getting in shape, just help all the guys as well. Bungard riding it's in. You just want to keep ticking over. If you're no fit in our gym, you'll get left behind, kind of stuff. So if someone's peaking for a fight, you need to be able to do the rounds. If you're not in shape, it's going to be a tough a tough 5 minute. So everyone in the gym's always in decent nick. It's just starting to peak a wee bit. Sessions get a wee bit more intense when no one want to get taken down. You're no longer happy to, he's fit, he's in shape, he can hold me down here, I'll get up in a bit. It's like, fuck, right, let's get up now, I'm losing this round. So intensity's going up a wee bit. Good atmosphere though, everyone's getting ready.
What about for tickets for that? Do you prefer can folk buy them through you and you get a wee commission, or rather than going through like the Ticketmaster?
Aye, so there's a link on my Instagram bio if anyone wants a ticket through me, or go through the other fighters as well. If you're struggling, send any of us a message, we'll send you the link through. You get a wee bit of commission, so one of the ways you make a bit of money.
That's the preferred method of
preferred
purchase.
Method, definitely.
I'll say it. And what about? Do you have any preference? Like, if folk want to get in contact with you, Michael, like Instagram, Facebook,
Instagram, Facebook, I'm easy. I'll get back to you on both.
And if you win your next fight, are you going to ragdoll any of the ring girls out the way?
I don't know. It depends how close they get, how cheeky they get. That one still pops up every 6 months. I'll get sent a video of me pushing that ring girl.
What's the story? Have you told it
do you know
before?
Something? I forgot all about that when I was talking about amateur stories. So that was I don't know what fight it was, 4th or 5th fight.
O'Shea or something, was it you were fighting?
So I stopped the boy the second round. I was shattered, talking away to the guy, and then the story you can't see, right? You see the video, and she's standing in front of us, but there's a woman taking photos behind her, and the woman's like, move it away. But she looks at the woman and then just like goes back to posing. So I'm like, fucking move it away, I want my photo taken. And then she was looking at us like, what? And she was terrifying the bird as well. I was like scared of her than I was of the guy. And she was like, what? What did you say? I was like, I'm only kidding on, it's alright, it doesn't matter. But she was stoning, I stand by my decision, she was stoning right in front of us.
I know. Most of the fighters try to pump the birds, you're fucking trying to get another square go.
I was fucking terrified of the full rest of the event, because Ryan and Jordan were fighting after me. She was like, where's that other guy? I'm fucking staying in the back, hood up and all that, fucking sunglasses on.
That's funny.
Aye, that pops up every now and again with any of those new videos, fighters and ring girls. I'm on that at some point.
It's a bit clickbaity, the headline on YouTube, but like I think you're...
Oh, aye, 100%.
You just kind of usher her out the way, you weren't fucking like going to hip toss or anything like that, I don't think.
Nah, not at that point. If she stepped in though, can't get too close, chill son.
That's that, mate. No, I think that's a good place then. I know you need to go away train, mate, so I appreciate you coming in today. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you, Paul.
Catch up soon.